Well, hi folks, welcome to the next video in the Tarot series, and today we're looking at the Hermit, key number 9. Now the Hermit is, it's got a reasonably simple interpretation, maybe simpler than some of the early ones we've done so far, but it is one of my favourites. I think it's an interesting and precise meaning to the card, which can be very helpful in your daily life. It's one of my favourites, I have to admit it. Now it actually has three separate meanings: adeptship, prophecy and response. Now I'll go through what I mean by that, then I'll go through the symbolism of the card, and then just a little bit at the end just to tie it up. So what does it mean? Well, adeptship to start with, okay. Well, you see that our Hermit here is standing on a mountain peak. So he's this is showing that he's at the end of a journey. Remember we saw the Fool and he was standing up there on a mountain peak again, but looking at a higher one, gazing off in the distance to a higher peak. But he was stationary and he was contemplatory. Well, the Fool has gone down in the journey. He's gone off down into the valley, into the valley of darkness, and he's gone on his cycle. He's gone on his spiritual journey. He's gone on his journey of learning, and he's gone up the hill. He's climbed up to that next peak that he was staring at in the distance, and here we have the Hermit stood on that peak, the same person as the Fool, the same person as us, because we're on the journey. And now he's finished that particular journey, and he's looking down into the valley with the lantern. Well, basically what's that saying is that he's now an adept. He's an adept of that particular journey. He's learned his lessons from that particular journey. And now he's ready for his next journey. He has this wisdom that he's gained, but he's going to pack all that wisdom up, and he's going to put it in the sack here, of the Fool. He's going to take that with him, and he's going to set off again on another journey. So he's going to go back to being the Fool again. And you can see that there's just one little step there for the Fool before he falls off the cliff. Well, that's saying that there's another journey for him available. And our chap, he's going to set off the next journey, because there's always more to attain. It's called the Ancient of Days, and this is represented by the grey beard that he has. And this is also saying that he's the one identity. He is the one thing, as we said the Fool was right at the beginning, if you remember. Now the second thing is prophecy. Okay, there's an old teaching that says that the prophet is one who knows the vision of the future to be true, because it's founded on accurate understanding of principles, of universal laws. And that's what our prophet is, because it's what our Hermit is. Because he's gone off and he's learned, and every time he goes on a cyclic spiritual journey, he picks up more wisdom. And these wisdoms come in the form of universal principles, universal laws of the universe. And now he can use those to predict what the future is going to have in hold for us. He holds the lantern out now, because that is going to guide other people that are on the journey. The mountain, you can say, has got many paths around it, but they all lead up to that one principle, that one peak. And now our Hermit can stand there with his lantern, guiding people up to that peak. Now, response is the third meaning of the word, and this basically means that every act of human personality is actually a response to the life power. We've talked about this before. We've said that although we have a personality, our goals don't really come from the personality. They come from the one true self, which is us and our connection to the one true self. Because if there is only one true self, then we must be part of it. The personality acts as a mask, something that you ride through, you travel through this life experience on this plane with. Remember we talked about the chariot. The chariot is what you see coming at you, but that isn't the person. The actual person is a person inside the chariot. The chariot represents your personality. Now remember we said that Jesus said, I do nothing of myself. It is the Father within me that does everything. Same thing. Only one identity. And the universe shows itself. Basically everything you see as one form. Everything you see is a formation of that one identity. So that's the basic message of the card. I'll take you through the symbolism now. Now we've always talked about antithesis, which means that you look at the card before and the card after it is in quite a lot of ways an opposite to it. So there we have key 8, strength, and of course now we have key 9, the Hermit. So we'll see that our Hermit is on a cold, windswept place where strength is on a beautiful sunlit area. The Hermit's on a mountain peak where strength is a wide open plain, and of course we have a female in strength and a male in the Hermit. And these symbols you can find more and more and more if you look at it, but that's just a few. Now the Hebrew letter, okay, is Yod, and Yod down here, Yod is the hand of man. Now, there's an ancient doctrine, yes, another one, that says the primary and fundamental reality of the universe is identical with the power expressed by the handiwork of human beings. Okay, lots of wisdom in there. Now, the zodiacal sign associated to Yod is Virgo. Virgo is the 6th sign of the zodiac. So we're saying here 6 is represented by the 6-pointed star inside the lantern. And the 6-pointed star shows one of the basic fundamentals of this card, which we'll come back to quite a few times, you'll see. And that's it. That is that. A 6-pointed star is 2 triangles pressed into each other. So it's 2 opposites, male, female, pressed into each other to end up with an equal-sized 6-pointed star. So this is the coming together of the opposites, and we'll come back to that. Now the magician, Mercury, is the planet which is exalted in Virgo. So this puts us back in to the land of the magician again. So we're back to number 1. Now our Hermit has got a blue cap on, and that is in the shape of the Yod. That is a Yod. You'll see that it's a shape of a flame. Now this is the basis of all the spiritual Hebrew letters in the flame alphabet, called the flame alphabet because it looks like a flame, and you'll notice all the other letters have the Yod as a major part of the alphabet. So this is saying that this is a major, this concept is a major part of the whole meaning of the tarot and the Kabbalah. The top point of the Yod is said to point up at Kether, the highest Sephira on the Kabbalistic tree, the top of the what you call the supernal triangle, which is the deity part of the tree, right at the top. The life power is represented by the rest of the letter Yod. Okay, so let's look at the number. Right, number is 9. Now that's completion. Now what we're saying here is we've completed a spiritual cycle from naught, the Fool, all the way through the tarot keys we've had so far, and we know what that has all meant. And now we've ended up at number 9, and 9 is the completion. Naught to 9, the end of the letters. Now, if you remember, we talked about the tarot tableau, and we said that the card on the top row was a power, the card on the middle row was an agency, and the card on the bottom was a field of expression. So in our little row here, on the top, we have key 2, the High Priestess, which we said was subconsciousness. And then we have our Hermit in the middle and the Tower below, that's key 16. So what we're saying is the power that is represented by the High Priestess uses what is represented by the Hermit as an agency to bring about the result below, which is the Tower. And we'll come to that when we get to key 16. But it's interesting to kind of think of this now. And also think of the shape of the letter 9. You've got the O, which is the Fool. So you follow the O round until it joins up, and then you go down with a 1. So that's a magician. So from the note, you got the 1, which represents the magician. You're setting off again on another of these spiritual journeys. He's got a grey cloak. And we said before that Gandalf the grey is the bringing together of the white and the black. Mix them together and you get grey. If you look at the pillars on our High Priestess again, you've got these are the pillars of the Kabbalistic Tree and also of Solomon's Temple. You've got the white and the black. So if you bring these together to the centre of a depthship, then you have grey. Gandalf the Grey. It's the same with the Sphinx on the Chariot, and maybe the Lovers as well. But it's basically it represents all the bringing together of the opposites, which is basically what we have in this field of existence, represented by the checkerboard as well, by the yin and yang side and all those. So what we're saying is our Hermit is an adept. Okay, he has a beard as well. The beard represents the Ancient One, the Most High Ancient One, the primal will. His lantern he carries shows here that he's self-illuminated. You know that the Fool had a big sun shining on him and it never went down. Well, our Fool has his own. Sorry, our Hermit has his own self-illuminated lamp, so he's an illuminated one. It's made of glass and metal. This is to bring in the idea of the inorganic side of nature. And we've already mentioned that he's like a 6-pointed star, which brings together the opposites, as does his grey cloak. And it also lightens up for people below so they can follow the path of the ones before. One of the lightning flashes from this lamp goes right down out of the bottom of the card and flashes right through the tower below, and we'll see that when we get to key 16. His staff is organic nature now, so we've got the inorganic with the lantern, and now we've got the staff, which is wood, so it's organic nature, so it's fiery. It's the fiery activity. Some tarot cards have a snake there, but there's no need because the staff, the stick, basically shows what we need. Now he's used this staff, he's used this all the way up to the top of the hill in his right hand. He's worked hard and he's got to the top, he's got to the point of a depthship. So now he's put it in his left hand. He just leans on it because he doesn't really need it anymore until he sets off again. And you'll notice he's got ice at his feet. Now this represents the suspension of the vibratory activity of the universe. It's the vibration of the universe, the root matter is frozen here. Because this is where it all begins. This is where the river that you see in the Empress, in the Emperor, in the Chariot, and all the other cards where you see a stream or river, this is where it starts. And also the water that you see in the High Priestess's robe, which represents subconsciousness. It starts here with our Hermit. So, excuse me, what does this all mean to us then? Well, basically it's talking about our life journeys, the journeys that we all go on. But if we use the tarot, we can go on purposeful journeys, on journeys where we learn fundamentals of our existence here and of the universe. And one of those principles is the principle of circularity and also spiral. And so you can, whatever journey you go through, if you're going through one now, for instance, which is hard, when you're struggling, you know that it's a cycle. And all cycles go around like the note on the number 9 and come to an end, and then you have the magician. So no matter what you're going through at the moment, it will come to an end. And when it does come to an end, if you're looking at the tarot and using the tarot, then you will gain wisdoms from it. You will gain recognition of universal laws, which can help you for the rest of your life. It'll also help you to interpret the future, because whenever you see, once you've learnt a grasp a law, universal principles of nature, you can put that, you can adapt it to the next circumstance that you're in, and it'll give you a clear indication of what the future holds for you. And there's always more attainment. The fool, as we said, stands with one more step in front of him. So there's always more journeys to go on. You'll never finish learning. But don't forget that through all these decisions, through all these journeys, they all originate from the one self, which is you, and which is the universe, and which is everything. And that's all I've got to say about the Hermit. Please do click on subscribe, because I'm trying to build the channel up, and on the little bell as well, so you get told about future videos. And if you'd like to donate, it really will be highly appreciated. The link to the PayPal's in the description below. So we'll see you all in the next video.